Welcome to my bold and beautiful Today's Show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video thumbs up. In a live stream interview, Brooke mentions the Ridge wedding. The Bold and the Beautiful reveals that Brooke Logan hinted at a Ridge Forrester wedding in a live stream interview before Eric Forrester ultimately made a confession. Taylor Hayes updated Steffy Forrester on how she and Brooke got locked in the vault by accident after the fashion show. Taylor assumed that the showstopper was the reason Brooke was so eager to leave. Steffy fumed over Brooke stealing the spotlight and wondered how she pulled it off. After Brooke removed the show-stopping gown, she returned to Ridge and received praise from him for saving the day. As Ridge and Brooke did a live stream interview together on Monday's B&B episode, Steffy and Taylor watched on a monitor. When Ridge inquired about the possibility of Brooke wearing this gown with a Portofino motif to a much larger event, Brooke replied, "You never know." In a backstage area, Carter Walton praised Daphne Rose since her perfumes were creating so much buzz. As Katie Logan stayed at them in the distance, Daphne gave Carter a kiss to celebrate. Steffy made an effort, during her own livestream interview, to refocus attention on Forrester's triumphant K2 comeback rather than Brooke's show-stopping moment. When Steffy and Taylor spoke with Katie about Brooke's sneaky showstopper move, Katie acted like her sister came to the rescue. Once Eric and Donna Logan said their goodbyes to Christine Blair in the CEO office, they had a conversation with Ridge, Brooke, and Zende Forrester Dominguez. Zende announced that Forrester, Ridge, and Brooke were trending on social media. The topic of Brooke stealing her big runway moment came up after Steffy and Taylor appeared. Eric confessed that he was behind it since he was inspired to revamp the Portofino dress of the past and wanted to make a huge splash at this fashion show. Ridge wondered if the showstopper was delayed because Brooke said that Eric came to her with the idea at the last minute. Taylor filled Ridge in on the accidental vault lock-in that nearly ruined Eric's surprise. Eric declared that they changed the narrative and that no one was talking about the takeover anymore. Steffy complained since she didn't feel Brooke's inclusion was needed to make sure that happened. Nevertheless, Eric stood his ground about it being the right call and played up Brooke's history with Ridge. As far as Eric was concerned, Brooke came through for them and saved the event. In a moment alone with Eric, Brooke gushed over feeling the magic with Ridge earlier and insisted he remembered what they shared. Eric continued to make hopeful predictions about Brooke and Ridge ending up together. In the meantime, Taylor spoke with Ridge about how the showstopper attracted so much attention because the woman everyone wanted to see him with was wearing it. Ridge, on the other hand, argued that it was just a dress and mentioned Taylor's romantic history. He thought back to being on the runway with Brooke after Ridge tried his best to reassure Taylor about their relationship. In another place, Brooke mumbled to herself about the unforgettable time she spent with Ridge in front of the crowd. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Brooke's in for a rude awakening once Ridge rejects her again. Eric's betrayal, Brooke's misguided magic. The Bold and the Beautiful is finally here. In today's episode, Steffy Forrester Finnegan has issues with Eric Forrester's actions. Meanwhile, Brooke Logan claims the magic has returned with Ridge Forrester. Fashion show success at Forrester Creations. Eric and Donna Logan watch the fashion show on a monitor. Christine Blair interrupts, saying she wants to place an order. Katie Logan and Zende Forrester Dominguez come in next talking about mashups of Bridge. Christina gives Eric some paperwork for the deal with Danny Romalotti. Donna praises Eric's strategy abilities after Christine leaves. Read more. Find out what happened on the last episode of B&B. Steffy Forrester Finnegan's discovery. Over with Taylor Hayes, she tells Steffy all about being locked in with Brooke. Steffy launches into a rant about the blonde. Katie goes backstage and observes Daphne Rose putting her paws all over Carter Walton. Will Spencer wants to be alone with Electra Forrester. Will pulls her into a close, but she won't close the door. Ivy Forrester suddenly shows up. Guess today's not Will's lucky day, again. Read this, the latest B&B comings and goings. Ridge Forrester's catwalk. Ridge goes on the catwalk, which prompts Brooke to approach her former flame. Brooke asserts that her heart is still beating. Ridge admits she saved the day when she showed up. Reporters want to know if this will lead to a bigger event. Brooke says, "You never know," when she plays with them. Katie starts yapping about perfume to the media. Taylor and Steffy enter. The reporters ask Steffy about the showstopper, but the co-CEO tries to downplay it. When the reporters move along, the Forrester women talk about Brooke plotting to be the center of attention at the show. Eric Forrester's credit. Backstage, Ridge joins Daphne and Carter. The COO was impressed with the showstopper. Ridge gives the credit to Eric. Once at the office, Eric gushes about Zenday's work. Eric adds that Ridge and Brooke is now trending on social media. Eric is excited. Steffy and Taylor come in to hear Eric taking credit for the showstopper scheme. Taylor acknowledges locking Brooke in the closet. Eric gives a speech about changing the narrative, then says Brooke saved the show. After thanking him, Brooke asks for a moment alone with Eric. Once alone, Brooke admits she could still feel the magic with Ridge. Eric is pleased and hugs Brooke. Read this. The bold and the beautiful Katie calls out Daphne on her real reason for coming to LA, assuring Taylor Hayes. Ridge and Taylor are now in the showroom. The designer says he had nothing to do with Brooke showing up on stage. Taylor believes him. Ridge says it's just a dress. At that point, Taylor makes it clear that Ridge was wearing the dress on the woman everyone wants to be with. Ridge tries to smooth things over, but once Taylor exits, he thinks about Brooke in that dress. Liam moves into Steffy's house. Hope confronts Finn. The bold and the beautiful reveal that Liam Spencer gets a new living arrangement. Could Liam move in with Steffy Forrester Finnegan and John Finnegan if Logan becomes suspicious? Continue reading, and let's discuss the possibilities. Liam Spencer's brain tumor. Liam just found out that he has a brain tumor that can't be removed. Steffy was the one to break the news to Liam after he left the hospital against medical advice. Steffy is freaking out over losing Liam and how Kelly Spencer will cope. Liam appears to be in disbelief at this point. Additionally, Liam is determined to conceal his diagnosis and outlook. Steffy Forrester Finnegan's secret. With how freaked out Steffy is about Liam's condition, she could ask her husband for a big favor. It would be easy to see Steffy inviting Liam to live at her house with Finn and the kids, at least temporarily. Because Finn is a doctor, Steffy might argue that it is the most secure location. Shin does have a guest house on the property, so it's not like Liam would be invading their personal space. At the same time, what will Liam tell people about his new living arrangements? If he were honest about the brain tumor, it would be understandable. However, Liam will have to come up with a cover story if he wants to keep his brain tumor a secret. Logan's suspicious Hope the bold and the beautiful reveal that Hope will get suspicious of Liam's new living arrangement during the week of April 28, 2025. Hope might question why Liam is living with Steffy. The reasonable thing to do would be for Liam to just tell Hope the truth, then ask to spend as much time with Beth Spencer, Jordan Linareeza, as possible. However, in soaps, they always tend to do the opposite of what they should. So, Liam likely has some cover story. However, with Kelly noticing that her dad couldn't read a book, that information could slip to a grandparent or someone else. Hope could find out some little tidbits that lead her to a shocking conclusion. John Finnegan's moral dilemma. It's possible that Liam won't tell Hope the truth if he really wants to keep this tumor a secret. Considering the current Logan or Forrester feud, don't expect Steffy to tell Hope the truth either. That could lead Hope to confront Finn at the hospital, away from Steffy, to demand the truth. At one time, they were good friends and Finn is a pretty moral guy. So, I have a hard time seeing him keeping this secret, especially if confronted. The bold and the beautiful. In a live stream interview, Brooke hints at the Ridge wedding, delving deeply into the drama, secrets, and romantic tensions. The latest developments surrounding Brooke Logan, Ridge Forrester, and the Forrester Creations fashion show have shocked Los Angeles. The bold and the beautiful world is always full of drama. The Forrester and Logan families were stoked by Brooke Logan's tantalizing hint about a possible wedding with Ridge in a recent live stream interview. This sparked rumors, jealousy, and heated arguments. The aftermath of the fashion show has been anything but peaceful, with Steffy Forrester fuming over Brooke's unexpected showstopper moment, Eric Forrester revealing his secret involvement, and romantic tensions simmering between multiple couples. Meanwhile, Carter Walton finds himself in an unexpected lip lock with Daphne Rose, much to Katie Logan's dismay, and Liam Spencer's shocking health crisis threatens to upend his relationships with Hope, Steffy, and Finn. Brooke's bold hint and Steffy's fury. The drama began when Brooke Logan made a surprise appearance in the Forrester Creations fashion show, wearing a stunning Portofino-inspired gown that stole the spotlight. This move infuriated Steffy Forrester, who believed Brooke had deliberately upstaged the event. However, the real bombshell came during Brooke and Ridge's joint livestream interview. When asked if she might wear the breathtaking gown for a much bigger event, clearly implying a wedding, Brooke coyly responded, "With Ridge, you never know." This suggestive remark sent shockwaves through the Forrester family, especially Steffy and Taylor Hayes, who watched the interview in disbelief. Steffy, already seething over Brooke's showstopper moment, so this is yet another attempt by Brooke to manipulate Ridge and reclaim her place in his life. Eric's confession and the real reason behind the showstopper. As tensions flared, Eric Forrester stepped forward to reveal the truth. He was the mastermind behind Brooke's surprise appearance. Inspired by the past romance between Ridge and Brooke, Eric had revamped the iconic Portofino dress and orchestrated the dramatic reveal to make a splash at the fashion show. His plan worked. Forrester Creations was trending on social media, and the narrative had shifted away from the company's recent turmoil. However, Steffy remained unconvinced, arguing that Brooke's inclusion was unnecessary and only served to stir up old drama. Eric, standing firm, praised Brooke for saving the event, further fueling Steffy's resentment. Brooke's delusions and Ridge's lingering feelings. Brooke, ever the optimist, took Eric's encouragement as a sign that Ridge might finally be ready to reunite with her. In a private moment with Eric, she gushed about feeling the magic with Ridge on the runway, insisting that he remembered their deep connection. Eric, ever the romantic, made hopeful predictions about a Ridge reunion. However, Ridge's true feelings remained ambiguous. While he reassured Taylor that the showstopper was just a dress and reminded her of their own romantic history, he couldn't help but reflect on his electrifying moment with Brooke. This internal conflict suggests that Ridge may still be torn between his past with Brooke and his present with Taylor, a tension that will undoubtedly explode in future episodes. Carter and Daphne's scandalous kiss. Backstage, another romantic row was brewing at the same time. Carter Walton, ever the charming COO, was praising Daphne Rose for the success of her perfumes at the event. In a moment of celebration, Daphne impulsively planted a kiss on Carter, a move that did not go unnoticed by Katie Logan, who watched from a distance with visible shock. This unexpected kiss raises questions about Daphne's true intentions. Is she genuinely interested in Carter, or is this another calculated move in the high-stakes world of Forrester Creations? Given Katie's history with Carter, this new development could lead to yet another love triangle, adding more fuel to the already chaotic Logan-Forrester dynamics. Steffy's desperate move and Liam's shocking health crisis in a parallel storyline. Liam Spencer's life took a devastating turn when he learned he had an inoperable brain tumor. After leaving the hospital against medical advice, Steffy, desperate to protect him, broke the news, leaving Liam in stunned disbelief. Now, faced with the reality of his condition, Liam is determined to keep his diagnosis a secret, but Steffy may have other plans. Speculation is mounting that she could invite Liam to move into her home with Finn and the kids, using the guest house as a way to keep him close while Finn monitors his health. However, this arrangement won't stay secret for long. Hope Logan, already suspicious of Liam's erratic behavior, is set to confront him about his sudden change in living arrangements. If she discovers the truth, or worse, if Finn is forced to reveal Liam's condition, it could lead to an emotional showdown. Will Liam finally come clean to Hope, or will his secrecy drive an even deeper wedge between them? And how will Finn handle being caught in the middle of Steffy's protective instincts and Hope's demands for the truth? During a live-stream interview that captivated fans and incited ire backstage, Brooke Logan once again stood at the center of the spotlight, this time not just on the runway but also in the hearts and minds of characters and viewers alike, as she subtly hinted at a potential wedding to Ridge Forrester. The Bold and the Beautiful episode was brimming with catwalk drama, romantic nostalgia, and a brewing storm of secrets. When Brooke was asked if she would wear the showstopper dress again at a much larger event, she teased, "With Ridge, you never know," in a move that sparked a flurry of reactions. She was draped in a reimagined Portofino-inspired dress. It was a playful yet calculated remark that reignited whispers of a Bridge reunion and left Steffy Forrester Finnegan seething as she watched the moment unfold on the monitor alongside Taylor Hayes, who herself was still recovering from the awkwardly symbolic scenario of being locked in a vault with Brooke right before the show. Steffy, fiercely protective of Forrester Creations' legacy and her own professional pride, felt robbed of her moment and instantly suspected Brooke of manipulating the show to reclaim both the limelight and Ridge's heart. Meanwhile, Taylor tried to rationalize Brooke's desperation in the vault as fear of missing the big reveal, unaware that the showstopper twist was orchestrated not by Brooke but by Eric Forrester himself. Taylor and Steffy's attempts to make sense of the chaos only grew more complicated as Katie Logan, ever loyal to her sister, defended Brooke as a last-minute savior rather than a saboteur. But the true twist came later, when Eric revealed in the CEO office that he had in fact planned the entire Portofino callback himself, seeking to both honor the past and reignite buzz around the Forrester brand and perhaps, in his own subtle way, encourage the romantic reunion he believed the world, and Brooke, deserved. As Eric proudly claimed credit for the spectacle, Zende Forrester Dominguez noted that Forrester Creations, along with Brooke and Ridge, was now trending on social media, confirming the magnitude of Brooke's impact. When Ridge questioned whether Eric's last-minute call to Brooke caused the delay in the show, Brooke and Eric exchanged knowing glances, with Brooke insisting Eric had approached her at the 11th hour with the idea. Eric hailed Brooke as the hero who saved the fashion show and changed the public conversation from a potential leadership shakeup to a coup triumph as the narrative swiftly shifted from scandal to celebration. Steffy didn't buy it, though. While others saw Brooke's appearance as iconic, Steffy viewed it as yet another example of her mother's rival stealing attention and rewriting the narrative. Meanwhile, Brooke herself basked in Ridge's praise and the electricity of their shared moment, later confiding in Eric that she could feel the magic again with Ridge, a sentiment Eric clearly hoped would evolve into something more permanent. Eric's unwavering belief in Bridge's destiny stood in stark contrast to Ridge's conflicted heart, as he tried to reassure Taylor of his feelings for her while privately reminiscing about the moment Brooke stepped onto the catwalk in that unforgettable gown. Brooke too found herself lost in memory, muttering about the surreal feeling of being with Ridge in front of the crowd and clearly envisioning a future that Ridge himself may not be ready or willing to deliver. In another location, the enigmatic Daphne Rose, whose perfume line had just created its own buzz, unexpectedly gave Carter Woolton a celebratory kiss. Katie, arriving just in time to witness the intimate moment, was visibly rattled, her feelings for Carter suddenly colliding with the reality of his growing connection to Daphne. As Katie tried to refocus the conversation on business and fragrance, the emotional undercurrents of the show threatened to overwhelm the celebratory mood. In the meantime, Christine Blair came into the office to close a deal and place an order, giving the otherwise emotionally charged day a sense of business as usual. At the same time, a young romantic entanglement was playing out elsewhere, as Will Spencer attempted to steal a private moment with Electra Forrester, only to be hilariously interrupted by Ivy Forrester cementing yet again that no romantic plan goes off without a hitch in the world of B&B. Back in the showroom, Taylor and Steffy continued to stew over Brooke's impromptu spotlight moment, with Taylor admitting that she herself had inadvertently locked Brooke in the vault, an irony not lost on either woman as they recounted the strange series of events leading to the surprise dress reveal. It was evident, despite Taylor's worries and Ridge's verbal assurances, that the image of Brooke in the showstopper had left a mark on Ridge's mind that no amount of logic could erase. A much darker and more personal story was unfolding simultaneously with the Forresters and Logan's simmering tensions, one that was significantly more significant than fashion rivalries or Livestream teasers. Liam Spencer, recently diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor, was grappling with the unimaginable. Liam left the hospital against his doctor's advice and only told Steffy, who was devastated by the news. He chose secrecy over vulnerability. Liam, ever the martyr, insisted on keeping his diagnosis quiet, even as Steffy grew frantic at the thought of losing the father of her child and a man she had once deeply loved. In an attempt to keep Liam safe and monitored, Steffy quietly invited him to move into the guest house on the property she shares with John Finnegan, her husband. Steffy's logic was sound. If Liam refused to follow doctor's orders, then the least she could do was ensure he had access to medical help and that Kelly could be close to her father in his final days. However, the optics of the arrangement soon raised eyebrows, particularly from Hope Logan, who noticed the shift in Liam's living situation and grew suspicious. With no knowledge of Liam's condition, Hope was left to assume the worst, perhaps fearing a rekindled romance between Liam and Steffy, or sensing a growing emotional intimacy that had her on edge. While Liam's intentions were rooted in secrecy and protection, the convoluted relationships between all parties made it inevitable that the truth or some version of it would eventually spill out. Adding yet another layer of tension was the ethical quandary faced by Finn, who knew the full extent of Liam's diagnosis and was now complicit in keeping it secret from Hope. While Steffy implored her husband to protect Liam's privacy, Finn found himself in a bind. Once close with Hope, and still holding himself to a strict moral code as a physician, Finn was increasingly uncomfortable with the deceit. Spoilers tease that Hope may eventually confront Finn at the hospital, seeking answers when Liam's erratic behavior or unexplained proximity to Steffy pushes her over the edge. Finn, caught between professional integrity, patient confidentiality, and loyalty to his wife, could crack under the pressure and reveal the truth, setting off a domino effect that would shatter the fragile peace holding these interconnected relationships together. Meanwhile, Kelly's innocent observations, such as noticing her dad couldn't read her a bedtime story, could offer further clues that unravel Liam's carefully constructed lie. The plot was in danger of devolving into heartbreak as Steffy struggled to manage Liam's care, her waning faith in Finn, and the emotional toll of her impending loss. And amid it all, Brooke remained in her own romantic fantasy, convinced that fate had delivered her one final chance, with Ridgeman still struggling to untangle his feelings for the two women who have defined his life. Despite the glitz and glamour of the fashion show, the emotional currents running through the episode reminded viewers why the bold and the beautiful remains a compelling, character-driven drama. Brooke's giddy optimism about her magical moment with Ridge contrasted sharply with Steffy's guarded fury, Taylor's simmering doubt, and Ridge's confused heart. As his desire to relive the magic of the past obscured the reality of the difficulties of the present, Eric's well-intentioned but meddling influence only served to exacerbate the already explosive atmosphere. Meanwhile, Katie's heartbreak at seeing Carter with Daphne, Will's comic romantic misfires, and the shocking undercurrent of Liam's terminal diagnosis all came together in a tapestry of interwoven storylines that showcase the best and worst of human emotion. Brooke's livestream tease may have set social media ablaze, but it also opened a Pandora's box of old wounds, unresolved relationships, and new secrets. Nothing is ever as straightforward as a dress, a kiss, or a whispered you never know, as is typical of soap operas. Every action has a ripple effect, and every character is just one moment away from upheaval. Whether it's Eric's bold fashion choices, Liam's secret suffering, or Brooke's naive belief in destiny, the bold and the beautiful continues to explore love, legacy, and loss with its signature blend of glamour and heartbreak. And if Ridge's contemplative expression as he observed Brooke in that dress is any indication, the bridge story is far from over, though the next chapter might not be the fairy tale Brooke had hoped for.